Last week, I met up with Carrie Hope Fletcher to talk all things Waitress UK tour, which kicks off later this month. We also talked about her upcoming solo tour, the Ghostlight Tour, which hits the road later in the year in October. I also do want to point out that we filmed this before the full cast was announced for the Waitress Tour, so at least one of these questions might sound a little bit outdated. Here's what she had to say. This is how I try and make myself look professional.
Yeah, convince everyone that this is like...
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a real thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why I'm going straight into the questions. I need to introduce you first. Today, I'm joined by the wonderful and the beautiful Carrie Hope Fletcher.
Thanks.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about Waitress.
Yep.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah.
I haven't run any of this past year.
Hey, look, I'm up for anything.
And
Within
Ghostlight
reason.
Tour. Okay, so diving straight in.
Go.
Waitress The Musical UK Tour kicks off at the New Wimbledon Theatre. I've done my research.
Nice.
Saturday.
I haven't. I don't know where I'm going on that tour. I'll get told the week before I'm there.
Professional. You are the musical professional. You say musical theatre. Who's the first person that comes to mind?
Me?
It's you.
Oh, it shouldn't be.
It is. So it kicks off at the New Wimbledon Theatre on Saturday the 28th of March, 2026.
I did know that.
We have all seen the cover that you did of She Used to Be Mine. That was almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
So this is like almost a decade in the making. How do you feel now that you're finally sort of getting the chance to take that on the road?
Well, it's funny because I have watched that cover since getting the part of Jenna, and it feels like I'm watching a completely different person. And because I auditioned for Jenna when it came to the West End in 2018, which is still like, when did I do that cover? It was still a few years after I made that cover, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if this is definitely the right time, I think, for me to like play this part, especially after like having a child and having that experience of like being pregnant and all like the, you know, the feelings that sort of throws up. I think had I played it back when I made that cover,
like it would have been a very different version.
It would have been a very different version. I don't think I would have done it the justice that the role and the show deserved, because I love the show so much. So I think this is definitely like the right time.
Oh, amazing. Well, I can't wait. I literally can't wait to see it. Sarah Bareilles is one of the most wonderful songwriters of this generation, and Waitress is mostly bangers.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree. Which songs are you most looking forward to singing as Jenna, and which songs are you most looking forward to listening to your castmates sing?
I love I Didn't Plan It, and I cannot wait.
I love that song.
To hear that sung every night by Sandra, because it's so good, and it's just like so packed with like attitude, and I love that song. So I can't wait to hear that. Take It From an Old Man as well. I love. It's just so heartbreaking, and but like in the most gorgeous way. And of course, my lovely friend Les is playing Old Joe.
Yeah.
So being back in a show and back on the road with him.
When you found out that Les was doing it, and you're like, you've done, obviously you did Addams Family with Les. What was your reaction? Like, you're going, I'm going to be performing with Les again.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I remembered was that whenever we did like press for the Addams Family tour, me and Les were always paired together. It was always like Sam Womack and Cameron Blakely were paired together, and it was always Wednesday and Festa were always paired together for press stuff. So anytime we did like interviews together, it was always me and Les. So I always just sort of remember sort of bonding with him like between interviews
and just having a laugh.
And just having a great time.
He's one of the funniest humans,
and just one of the kindest, and just really lovely, and also really good at what he does. But song I'm excited to sing, Soft Place to Land. I love Soft Place to Land, and like I don't think it's been a while, I think, since I've done a song that's got like such close part harmonies, and where you've really got to like listen to the people around you, and like the sentiment of the song is so soft and warm as well. It's just one of those songs where you've really got to like blend with the people that you're singing with. So I think it's just going to be a really gorgeous moment, I think.
For us and for you.
Yeah.
By the way.
Well, I hope.
You're probably sick of this one, actually. I am going to ask it.
Ask it anyway.
I'm going to ask it.
I'm probably not sick of it.
There's probably going to be you will be sick of it.
Okay,
I guarantee you're sick of it.
Wait.
People keep asking the question.
Yeah.
I've seen it on your socials. I've seen it on Joel's, asking if he is doing Waitress.
Sure.
Is he playing Ogie? Is he playing Dr. Pomater? Can we finally put this to bed once and for all, so that people can finally stop asking the question? Is Joel doing Waitress?
He's actually alternate Becky.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. No, he's not. None of the above. No, he's not. He's not. And I did wonder, because he didn't tell me that he was auditioning for Elf.
Yeah.
So there was part of my brain going, is he auditioning for it and isn't telling me, or has he been offered it and I just don't know? But we start on Monday. So maybe I will find out on Monday whether he's been lying to me this whole time. He just like, he leaves the house with me and it's like, actually, I'm coming to rehearsals with you. But no, as far as I'm aware, he's not part of the show.
Well, I've spoken to Joel about it and he said, like, obviously the last time he performed, apart from the one time he had to go out onto the tour and you know, do basically sick cover, the last time he performed it was just as the show closed before
just before
lockdown, when all the theatres closed, and he had that really special time in that show because he was performing with Sarah, who obviously wrote it, and obviously with Gavin as well, and he's like, that's a really nice way to dot the I and cross the T for that show. So yeah, it makes sense.
And I think it's because, you know, I've been back to Les Mis so many times, so that's kind of my only point of reference, and I think it is really nerve-wracking when you've had such a wonderful time in a show and such a special time with a very like specific group of people to then go back and wonder if, you know, you're sort of gonna like ruin that memory if you don't have like the same kind of time or create the same kind of memories or bond with the cast in the same way, or you're playing a different role and so it just you don't gel with that part in the same way. You sort of don't want to sort of tarnish the memories that you have.
I love having these kinds of chats. This like insight into the pro world. You've already touched on this slightly, but I'm just going to ask you to kind of elaborate a little bit. Would you categorize Jenna as a dream role for you? And if so, how do you think Carrie Hope Fletcher would approach the role now compared to Carrie Hope Fletcher 9 years ago when you posted that cover? Obviously, your life has evolved massively since then. How do you think?
Has definitely been a dream role for me. And I think, you know, there was a part of me that, you know, obviously I was auditioning for it. I was also auditioning for Dawn. I just wanted to be part of the show because I was just such a massive fan of it.
Show.
It is a really special show. And I think back then I just hadn't ever been part of a show like that with that style of music. You know, all the shows I've been part of were always very out there with their storyline. Think like at the time of auditioning, I was playing Veronica Sawyer. So, you know, it's a show about like, you know, a lot of murder and a lot of like teen angst. And, you know, the Addams Family is obviously a very kooky, very out there story.
Like
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is, you know, like very
fantasy,
fantastical. So I'd never been part of a show apart from Les Mis, but even then with that being like sung through and, you know, I'd never been part of a show that was just about people and about their relationships. So that was just so interesting to me and is still so interesting to me. And I think, you know, Sarah Bareilles and her score and her music is just, anyone wants to be able to sing that score or sing her music because it's just so gorgeous. But yeah, I think there is a huge difference in how I would have played it back then versus how I play it now. Just because I think Jenna is, in my head, in my opinion, I think it's right that she is of an older age in order for her to have had time to sort of feel a bit jaded by life. And to be in that weird sort of age where she's not old enough to have like completely given up on life, but also not young enough to like feel like she could start again. And I feel like there's a sort of sweet spot, which I think is sort of like your mid-30s. You know what I mean? Where you're like,
not there yet.
I'm 33, I'm close enough. Early 30s.
You and I are basically the same age. Don't try and age me.
Sorry. But yeah, no, I think it is that sort of like between 30 and 40 where you're not in your 20s and you start talking yourself out of doing things that maybe you would have done when you were 21 to 25. But you're like, well, I'm not in my 40s yet, and I'm not, you know, I'm not middle-aged yet. So, you know, it's that sort of what if, like, could I make a go of things again? And I think that is really important for Jenna to sort of be on the cusp of, you know, changing her life and getting out of a situation only to find out that she's pregnant and suddenly it's not just her that she needs to think about anymore. And and I think with the knowledge of being pregnant and having a child, I don't know how I'm going to get through the show, but I also think it's going to add a layer of something to the show that I definitely didn't have when I was auditioning the first time.
You'll find the balance.
I hope so. I hope so, because no one's going to hear any of the song if I'm just like constantly
just bawling.
Just a total mess.
Show.
Oh God.
Okay. Well, Carrie will be playing Jenna in Waitress The Musical, the UK tour, at select venues. Those venues are clearly signposted on the website. I will pop the link to the website in the description. And
it's the beginning to Southend minus Sunderland.
There you go.
There you go.
I do know you also get that quite a lot. I see when you post on stories, ask me a question. It's like, will you be playing Bradford? And it's like, look at the website.
Yes.
Look at the website. Just Google the website or whatever, but I will pop a link in the description. On the 8th of October, 2026,
Yes.
You are kicking off another solo tour, Carrie Hope Fletcher, the Ghostlight Tour,
Yep.
which begins at Lichfield Cathedral and ends on Halloween at Portsmouth Cathedral.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you and I are kindred spirits
Mm-hmm.
in that we both love spooky season. Please give a brief overview for people who are wondering what they can expect from this tour.
So I love a ghost story. I specifically love a theatre ghost story. And for anyone that doesn't know, a ghost light is a light, literally it's like a light bulb on a stand. And most theatres have them. They're not really in use anymore, but lots of theatres still have them sort of away in storage. I feel like it's bad luck not to have one.
Yep.
And the idea is that you would put the ghost light in the middle of the stage, and there are there's two reasons as to why they would do this. It was either to ward off evil spirits, or my favourite one, for the ghosts of actors past to come and do their performances.
That's the one I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I just think
I prefer that one.
Oh, I love it so much. I have always just been very interested in the ghosts of actors past, and every theatre has one, if not several. And I feel like they're just not known enough. So I wanted to put on a tour that was all about sharing those stories and telling those stories whilst also singing some very theatrical songs.
Which I am obsessed with, by the way. Will you be delivering, when you're in Portsmouth, will you be like, here's some stories about ghosts in local theatres to hear?
I will definitely be doing my research and finding out, like, because when I've been on tour, it's always been my mission to find out like the local theatre ghost stories, and there are some cracking ones. However, there are also lots that are the same, and so you go, you've either borrowed stories from here or there, or there's like one story that everyone sort of tries to pass off as like their local theatre story. But there are some, like the Festival Theatre in Edinburgh is like one of my absolute favourites. Won't give it away now, but it's like it's so specific to that theatre, and it was like a big deal that it happened in that theatre, so it could never be passed off like anywhere else. So yeah, there's definitely some that.
Do you know the ghost stories about the Lyceum?
I only know a couple because of my mother-in-law, but apparently there's like a ghost tour that you can go on.
Yeah, I've done it twice.
I need to do it.
It's not a ghost tour; it's an overnight investigation.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with this,
and it's
and also terrified of
it's
that.
It's really exciting. So there's a monk.
Okay.
At the Lyceum, because the site of the Lyceum is built on an old cathedral.
Terrifying. Love it.
From hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
It's a ballerina who sadly took her own life.
God.
There's a young boy that is often seen by multiple audience members who will sit on the edge of the stage.
Terrifying.
In kind of Victorian clothing and just watch whatever is being performed at the time.
Cute.
Yeah. And there's a stagehand I think is often seen stage left, where no one is. I've done lots of things at the Lyceum. This is my local theatre for people that don't know, and it has been on Most Haunted. Yvette Fielding did a live podcast there, which I went to watch.
That's so cool.
Which had weird things happen in it as well. Like there was a voice off stage, which the production team swore in the moment there was nobody off stage left, but we all heard a voice from the far corner. I could pinpoint exactly where that voice came from, and everyone who was on stage swore there was nobody there. And if you believe if you believe them people, then you go, how is that possible? But yeah, it was it was very exciting. I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, me too.
Do have a confession though, I don't believe in ghosts.
Do you know?
No, I don't. My fascination is stronger than my belief. I would happily go. I've been to 30 East Drive, which is like the poltergeist house. I've been there. I love ghosts. I love the idea of ghosts.
I kind of wish that I didn't believe as hard as I do, because I feel like my terror of my belief stops me from being as doing stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. But I go as the voice of reason. A lot of the people that I go with are. So I know there's these twin sisters that I know that I used to do I used to do shows with one of them, and they have a group called Twinvestigate.
That's amazing.
So they're on YouTube. You can look them up and everything. And they I've been with them to the King's Head in Chester, which is the oldest hotel in Chester. It's supposed to be one of the most haunted buildings in the UK. And I've spent a night there with them too. And it's weird things happened that night, but not for me. They stayed in a hotel room, which was the two of them, and I stayed in one by myself, which they call the mirror room.
I couldn't do it.
And I did, and I had, I'll be honest with you, a fantastic night's sleep. But I think a lot of it comes. This is just turning into a paranormal chat now rather than musicals. But I do think a lot of it comes from. It's tied in with the Ghostlight tour. Carrie Hope Fletcher, go and watch it. I think it all ties in with. I think a lot of it is to do with belief. If you believe in ghosts, you're more likely to see one. Whereas if you don't believe in ghosts, you're less likely to see one, because I do think it's more psychological than physical.
Yeah.
But I could be so wrong.
Who knows?
And one day I might see a ghost, and I'll message you straight.
Yeah.
You think it's hard to see? Shakespeare.
Can you imagine if the one ghost you see is like Shakespeare?
I go
the one ghost that everyone wants to see.
I go to Stratford. I just stand by his grave, and he's just there. It has to be a theatre ghost, or like Laurence Olivier or someone like that. Back on track. Can you give us an idea?
Yeah.
Can you give us an idea of what songs you'll be singing, or is this
at this point? I actually don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've still got a long way off until we head out on the tour. So yeah, those conversations are yet to happen. So.
But people are excited for it. So.
Any suggestions? I'm up for it.
The Ghostbusters theme.
Can you imagine? We open with the Monster Mash.
Please. You'll be performing entirely, exclusively in cathedrals. How do you think that will compare? Have you ever performed in a cathedral before?
No.
How do you think it will compare to performing in theatres?
I think the acoustics are going to be amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I think vocally it's going to be amazing to sing in, because it's just, cathedrals are, you can't whisper in those places without it reverberating across all the walls. So I think that's going to be just really fun. But I also think doing something that's slightly more sort of spooky, I think being in a cathedral where there are quite literally dead people just on the doorstep, it's going to add to those vibes.
I've just had an idea.
Oh God.
That you're not going to do, because
I can't wait.
Not like you need to be any more tired than touring the UK with a musical.
What, do you like
production.
overnight stays in all of the cathedrals?
Do like a VIP. You can pay extra to do a VIP meet and greet, but the meet and greet is a paranormal investigation overnight at the venue.
I'd be too scared. I'd be too terrified. Oh, I wonder if we do sort of invite any spooky goings on though.
You're gonna have like a Ouija board in the middle of the room.
There was something in when we did Love Letters. I read out, because I basically had the idea to do the Ghostlight tour before we did Love Letters, and we just decided to do Love Letters instead. But one of the letters that I read out that had been written by someone in the audience that night was to her mum that had passed away. And as I was reading the letter, all of the lights went out on stage and then came back up again about 5 seconds later, as I'm reading this letter about this girl's mum who had passed away. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but I have to stop and just say, that was your mum. That was your mum. Like, there's no way that is not your mum letting you know that she's still here.
I got full body chills.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe, we might invite more stuff like that, which would be great. I'm so here for that happening.
I feel like there's someone here now. It's like, when you feel like there's someone I feel like there's someone just here.
We need to move on, or I'm going to freak myself out.
I've got full body chills, but it's all on my right side and I don't know why.
Oh God.
Will you be having guests like you did with Love Letters?
I don't know. At this point, I literally don't know.
This was supposed to be an exclusive interview.
Sorry. Maybe.
Oh, I loved it. I love the mystery of it all. Okay, so the Ghostlight Tour opens on the 8th of October at Lichfield Cathedral and runs until the 31st. Check Carrie's socials for tickets and updates, and I will also leave a link in the description.
Thanks.
Very quickly, let's do some quick fires before we go.
Oh God.
If you could share the stage with anyone in musical theatre, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh, I've got two. Can I have two?
Yeah.
Jenna Russell, because I've always just wanted to work with her and I think she's amazing. And I know her as a person. I just think she's one of the best people ever. And Bernadette Peters, because I just love her. And I watched her growing up and wanted to be her. So if I ever got to share the stage with her,
I love how quickly you answered that as well. You've been asked that before, haven't you?
Oh, well, I think I've got my
you've got your okay.
That my little list of dream people.
I've only ever seen Jenna Russell in one thing, and it was on stage with your husband.
Yeah, you're in town.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
Phenomenal.
She's so good.
It's unbelievable. And she sang "Privileged to Pee." I mean,
it's just
if you don't know the show, that's so stupid. But the vocals in that song are through the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Unreal, amazing. Who's the person that you have performed with, which to this day you still pinch yourself over?
John Montague. No. Oh, the first person who springs to mind is probably Michael Ball, only because he played my dad when I was a kid. So then getting to
That's really nice.
revisit a role where
Yeah.
we were playing Javert and Fontaine, and
I saw Michael Ball in Chitty
did you see
in
me?
London. I was very young when it was on a school trip.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to tell you who I saw. I could have seen you.
might have seen me. Wouldn't that
What a
be fun?
full circle moment that is. Oh, I love Michael Ball. Anyway.
Oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's also like one of the nicest people. Like he's got such a dedicated fan base, and every now and again I get asked like, "Oh, is he really is nice?" And he is. He is just the most gorgeous, fun-loving person.
As someone who hasn't met him, who wants to meet him, I don't think it comes across as an act. He's one of those people where you just look at him and you go, "He's genuinely like this."
He really is. Yeah, really, really is.
One day, maybe I'll shake his hand. What would you say is the best musical you've ever done? And I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, what do you think you were best at?" No, let's say you did the show, you finished in the show, and then went to watch it afterwards and was like, "Oh my god, this is incredible."
Such a great show. I mean, Les Mis will always be up there, but I always feel like that's a given with me. It's like my go-to answer for everything, because I'm such a hardcore Les Mis fangirl. So if I wasn't allowed to say that one, what would I say? It was only a concert version, but Witches of Eastwick. Yeah. And I think when I sort of signed up to doing it, I didn't quite realize that we were going to be doing because you hear concert and you think it's going to be a concert.
Yeah.
But then it was like a full-blown, full dance routine.
You did fly
staged.
as well, didn't
you?
Yeah,
we flew at the end of Act 1. We had 4 costume changes. It was like a proper deal, you know what I mean? I just love the show. I really want it to come back as well. I just think it's the time for it.
I don't know the show. It's one musical that I actually know nothing about.
I didn't really know the show until I was rehearsing for it.
Yeah.
And it is just this amazing show about sort of female empowerment and women overthrowing the patriarchy in such an obvious way, because the patriarch is essentially represented by the devil himself. And it's everything that I want in a musical. It's female empowerment, it's witches, it's spooky, it's a bit dark, but it's very funny. It's just it ticks all the boxes for me. And I really want it to come back. So I think if I had watched that as a show without having been a part of it, I think I would have become another big fangirl of that production.
I think it should be one of those shows like Elf. Very often at Christmas time, will just make its way into London and then back out again. You could just do Witches.
We need a spooky equivalent.
Who's a production company that's going to do Witches every year at Halloween?
That's such a good idea. Cogs are turning.
My idea.
Yeah.
I'm putting that out there in conjunction with Carrie Hope Fletcher. What is a venue that you have never performed at but would love to?
The Edinburgh Playhouse.
Okay.
Because apparently it's mega haunted.
Okay, yeah, we did just talk about this.
Mega haunted. Well, there's the festival, which is the one that I've done, but then the Playhouse apparently is
Edinburgh is it's built on the vault.
Yeah.
Everything is haunted in Edinburgh.
But apparently there's a crossover right at the top, at the Flies, and apparently you can, I might be wrong, but from what I've heard, you can only get from one side of the theatre to the other by going up and across or going under and across, apparently.
Wow.
And if you go up and across, it's really eerie, mega haunted.
Wow.
Yeah.
We did Jesus Christ Superstar a few years ago at Crewe, and they had the entire stage open. So from the front of the stage to the very back wall, it's completely open. The band were on stage. The only way to get from one side of the stage to the other was to go into the cellar.
Yeah,
and that,
not for me, I'm afraid.
If you know about the Lyceum, that's where the well is. There's a well in the cellar. And it's the only part of the building that is the same as the which still exists, which was there when the cathedral was there all those hundreds of years ago.
Sounds like Brighton Theatre Royal is kind of like that as well.
Yeah.
There's an old, you can see where the well used to be.
Yeah.
And apparently a boy drowned down there, and he's the ghost that you see and appears dripping wet in the wings.
That's going to make me cry.
It's genuinely terrifying.
Let's talk about something else.
I'm so sorry.
We're going to finish with a game.
Yeah, okay, lighthearted.
So this is a game that I play on my socials. I don't know if you've seen it. It was originally called Perform, Revive, Cancel.
Okay.
I played it with Joel, and I played it with Julie Atherton. Since I played it with Julie Atherton, I've changed the name and the rules, because she gave me her answer and then had a breakdown.
Okay.
About how she thought she was going to get cancelled because of her answer.
Right.
That was bleeped out of the episode. It will never see the light of day. And I will take
Can't
that to
wait.
my grave.
Oh no, I want to see it.
So I've changed the name now to Perform, Revive, Pass.
Okay.
So it's which show would you most like to perform in
Yeah.
that you've never performed in before? Basically, like what's a dream role kind
Yeah.
of thing. Which show, if it's not playing currently, at least in the UK,
Yeah.
would you most like to revive?
Yeah.
And then which show would you cancel forever if you had the opportunity?
Oh, I like that one.
I mean, if you want to go with that, go with that. But I understand as a professional performer, that could be detrimental to any future plans. But I've changed it to pass, where it's basically, if someone says to you, let's go and watch this musical, you're like, I think I'll pass.
Yeah. Okay, right. So the first one's perform.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to play the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors.
I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you as the dentist in Little Shop of
I
Horrors.
don't think it's been done, and I feel like the villains always have more fun.
Yeah.
I don't get to play many villains apart from Panto, and I think the dentist is just, and I love that musical as well. I think it's such a good show.
And pardon the pun, I think it's a part that you could really sink your teeth into.
Well, hey. But yeah, I would love to perform as the dentist. Revive. Oh.
This one's a tough one for a lot of people.
Yeah. I'm going to be slightly controversial.
Mm.
And I'm going to say Cinderella.
You're Cinderella?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that controversial?
Well, I have my reasons. But I think so many people come up to me and they say, we loved that show so much, or we had tickets to see it and it closed before we got to see it because the closing date was obviously, it closed early.
Mm-hmm. That's the controversy.
But yeah, but I don't necessarily want to be in it, but I think it wasn't a bad show.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a bad show. I think it was a fun show. I think post-lockdown, it was the show that everyone kind of needed because it was lighthearted and flamboyant and silly. And I think there's a lot of people who wanted to see it and didn't get a chance to. So I'm going to say that.
Okay, I think that's a good answer. I don't think it's controversial.
Okay.
Unless you know something we don't know.
No.
In the works.
No, not that I don't know anything about that. If it is,
if it now gets announced in like 4 weeks.
I'm not in cahoots with anyone who knows anything about it. That was genuinely, I plucked that out of thin air. Promise.
Okay.
Promise.
Okay.
Promise.
And which show would you pass on?
I think it would have to be, and I feel like this is controversial, or maybe it's not, I don't know, Phantom of the Opera. It is just not my bag. I've seen it, and I've had friends who were in it, and I went to see them in it, and I have friends in it now. It serves its purpose. I understand why people love it. But I also think there's a thing with the three that I always think of are Jesus Christ Superstar, Phantom of the Opera, and Les Mis. You always grow up with at least one of them, and you become like the fan person, like the big fan of that show.
Yeah.
And that sort of lives on with you, regardless of how dated it seems to other people.
Yeah.
And I think there's lots of people who go and see Les Mis now for the first time and they go, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
And it was the same. I didn't see Phantom of the Opera until I was about 24. And I watched it and I was like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
This isn't for me. This isn't my thing.
Yeah.
I understand why other people love it and I respect that other people love it, but it is just not for me.
For me, Phantom of the Opera is, and this is not about bashing Phantom of the Opera at the minute. For me, I put Phantom of the Opera and Wicked next to each other.
Oh, really?
I do think they're both very good shows. I don't think either of them would ever be my favourite show.
Sure.
What I find with them is you go and watch the show, you come out of the theatre and you go, oh my God, that was phenomenal. Oh my God, that's one of the best things I've ever seen. And then you give it a day or two and then you think to yourself, actually, do you know what? Phantom of the Opera into Music of the Night was phenomenal. Defying Gravity was phenomenal. Does that mean the show as a whole was?
Sure.
The show as a whole was good.
Yeah.
But they have just a stellar part.
Moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I love Wicked, so I can't.
I'm not saying I
Wicked.
dislike Wicked. I enjoy
love
Wicked.
Wicked.
But when I come out of it and I go, oh my God, it's one of the best things I've ever seen. It's not.
Yeah, sure.
There are musicals for me that are better than Wicked, but I do still enjoy it.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
I've seen it 8 times. I'm like, I really love it. I really love Wicked.
Can I please just clarify? I do enjoy Wicked before people jump in.
Yeah, that was a dangerous one to say.
Yeah, God. It can still be an amazing show, but not be up there for me with like
it's just not your
Hamilton
thing.
and Come From Away.
And yeah, Phantom just wasn't. It's not my thing.
Yeah, same. Thank you for talking to me, Carrie.
Thank you for talking to me.
This has been wonderful. If a little bit detached. This has been largely thrown together, which I think
they're the best ones.
They are the best ones. And the best ones are where it just feels like two friends talking rather than, even though I came with a full-on iPad with questions.
I love it.
It was still just, for me at least, just lovely to sit down and have a chat.
You
so
too.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Have a look on Carrie's socials. I'll put everything you need in the description below and on my socials to book tickets. Go and see Waitress. Go and see the Ghostlight Tour.
Come and join us.
Go and see Carrie and everything she does. Go and see some ghosts.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.